Hello. Just waiting a moment for Instagram to load up. Let's see. And there we go. All right, we are all here now. So we are just going to chat for a bit before we get going. I always like to give everybody a few minutes to show up. And good morning, Monica. So here we go. I will, show you what I'm doing here in a few once people get here. But while we're waiting for people to get here, you can see this awesome little writing desk that I have here, right? Isn't this cool? Well, okay, so you know how sometimes, especially in like the Hallmark movies, guys will take the girl to the carnival and win her a giant stuffed animal on the midway, right? Well, a few months ago, I went with my husband to a medieval tournament because you know how he does the medieval fighting stuff. So I went to this medieval tournament with him, and he won me a handmade writing desk. So, handmade little lap writing desk. So, yeah, it's, I think, I happen to think it's way cooler than a giant stuffed animal. But yeah, that's just me. So that's where this came from. Let's see, we have Monique is here and also says hello. Hello, Monique. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to make a really cute little book out of a piece of paper. Out of just one piece of paper, you can make a little book, and I'm going to show you that. And a few little tips and tricks on like ways to just kind of give it a little something extra as well. And we can talk about ways that it can be used, ways they can be used, and all of that. So let me grab out some that I have made already. You may have seen them if you saw the thumbnail for this live. You will have seen them. Let's see. So there's the this one that is about the size of 1/8 of a piece of paper, so folded in 4 in each direction, right? So we have this cute little book. It's made with one sheet of paper, and then I used a scrap of paper. This is one of the optional things to make the cover. All right. And then I also made them by folding them into 16ths. Here is a smaller one with, again, some scrapbook paper for the cover. And then here is another one the same size, but opens the other direction. And each page is actually a folded in half piece of paper. So each little page, it's actually, there's one on each side here. I mean, you could, when you're done with this, you could open those up, but it might explode on you if you did that. Even if you do the tape on the inside, you would have to really make sure that whatever's holding the inside together was really holding the inside together, because it being folded is what keeps it from losing paper. Okay, because this is only, because there's a cover, this is only 2 pieces of paper. The one piece of paper is all of the white. Okay, this is all one piece of paper that is still joined as one piece of paper. It's got some cuts in it, but it's not cut completely apart. It's still one piece of paper. And then a second piece I used to make the cover. And you'll see that as we make it. All right, so, and then this is just another one, like the second one that I showed you. And all I used for these is the one piece of paper, and then there's some double stick tape to hold the spine together. You could also just use Scotch tape to hold the spine together. You could stitch through it to hold it together. And if you stitched through it, then you could cut open the edges, right? And then I used double stick tape to attach the cover as well. All right. And I didn't even like do heavy measuring. I didn't even like really do any measuring. I just kind of estimated, cut the cover bigger than I needed, glued it, taped it on there with a double stick tape, and then used my scissors to cut it to the right size. So like they're really quick and easy. it's just a matter of folding neatly. So that's why I'm using this writing desk, which also happens to make it really easy to show you guys what I'm doing. But the reason why I was using this writing desk is because it has this little lip here. So one of the best trick and tip, the best tip I can give you for this is to have something to fold against. All right. You can have a table with a piece with like a block of wood or something on it. But you will have to be careful that your paper isn't going to slide underneath it. If you did something like that, like I have a just like a wooden box or something, if you did just a wooden box that you put here, what I would do here, let me grab a little piece of paper and I'll show you. I would take a piece of paper and just kind of fold it in half, right? And then if you just wanted to use like a book or something to be what you're folding against, I would put that something here. We'll use this as what I'm folding against. I would put this here and then put the piece of paper here, because then you can fold against this. Would actually be this way, okay? Because then you can fold against this and the paper isn't going to slide under. If I didn't have this piece of paper folded in half at a 90-degree angle here, and I started folding things against this, my paper might actually slide underneath, and then I'm not going to get a good fold. So you want something solid with a nice crisp edge right here, okay? And I happen to have that with this writing desk, but if you don't have that, that's what you can do. And it doesn't have to be that tall, honestly. You could have just done like this so that you can actually still kind of see what you're doing. So you just go like that, right? And as long as you have that nice crisp fold that you can slide your paper against and it won't slide under things, you're good to go. Monique asks, how do you know all this stuff? I'm sorry, Monica asks, how do you know all of this stuff? I have always been an artist, and then I take classes when I go to the medieval event that I go to every summer called Penzik. I take classes while I'm there, which I learn a lot of really techniques that go all the way back to the Middle Ages. So that's how I learned to do like the Coptic bookbinding and stuff. But then there's I also have there are things that I really love: sewing, knit, crochet. I love bookmaking. And so I actually have a lot of books on those items. So I have some really awesome books on various kinds of bookmaking. I have a really cool one that's like medieval bookbinding that that has like pictures of manuscripts, things from like the Middle Ages and such. And it shows you the pictures and they talk about how it was made and everything. It's really, really cool. It's so out of print. And it's been on my wish list for years because the cheapest I could ever find it was a few $100s. My husband managed to find one eventually that was something that he could afford. And, I don't know what it was, but he told me it was significantly less than the one that was like $250 on my wish list that I put next to it. You don't need to buy it at $250. Maybe you can find one less expensive. And it isn't even like in bad shape. I don't know. Somebody was just feeling generous, I guess. I'm not sure. But yeah, I learn a lot from books. I learn a lot from other artists. Some things I learned from online. I really prefer to learn from books and from other artists. I like to learn from other artists either like with a live class or like a video or something, because like the live classes and the things like this I really like, because then I can ask questions, right? So since this is live, you guys can ask questions. You can then watch the recording and you're going to learn a lot. If you have a question, you then would have to reach out to me, which, I have my sit and stitches every Wednesday. And you can ask any crafting question at those things. So I like the ability to be able to ask questions. And so that's why my first choice is something where it's a form where I can ask a question, either a live class, a virtual but live class, or even somebody online who I know that I can reach out to if I have a question. And then And then, you know, something with really good photos, a tutorial with really good photos. I love books, learning from books, because at any day, any time, like I like owning the actual print book, because then I can look through it and really, I find that it's a lot easier to look through a book and get ideas, because I just like to, I like the physical act of flipping through the book to get ideas and seeing the pictures and being inspired. And then when I find something I like, I can like actually look that up and look up how to do it and everything like that. Monique and Life Hacks and Facts with Jessie at Home. I think that's a lot longer name than Lunch with Jessie, but it's probably a little bit more realistic, right? Since we don't usually eat lunch. All right. So, yeah, and it's just this is the thing that this is how my mind works. My mind is made to be an artist. It's made to be an artist's mind. So, you know, real quick, that link up there is the link to today's Sit and Stitch. Today's Sit and Stitch is from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So that link, let me just double check that I'm not lying to you here to make sure. Yes, Sit and Stitch 6 to 8 is what that QR code will take you to. Good, not lying. That's always nice. And Monica loves paper books as well. Awesome sauce. All right, so let's talk about making these books. We're going to start off with a piece of paper. And this is just a piece of copy paper. All right. And what we're going to do is we're first going to fold the long way. All right. So long way here, fold it in half. And this is why I like having this little edge to fold against, because I just slid the one edge against and then folded the other edge against. And then, so I have the first edge against it, right? Fold the second edge against it. And you just kind of look and make sure that it's actually lined up on the two sides as well. And then if you have a you know, paper folder, whatever, awesome sauce, flip it over. So now the fold is against here, and fold the one end back to the center fold. And then flip the other way. So we still have, we have the last cut edge up here, and we're going to fold that last cut edge down to where the center is as well. Okay. I find doing it this way rather than opening it up and folding them to the center fold, it really does give me a more exact fold, which will make the book actually be, you know, have square sides, as opposed to kind of, you know, when you take a stack of napkins and you stick a cup on top of it and you turn and the thing like fans out like that. Well, it's really pretty in a stack of napkins, not so much in a book. So if you don't want this, like, but you know, somebody who's really good at it. My aunt does it with her knuckles. She says, and like, it's beautiful, right? Yeah, but when you do it with a stack of napkins, it can be really pretty. When you don't have your folds right, your book does that, but not even in a pretty way usually. So, all right, we have this folded into kind of like an accordion here, right? Now you're just going to straighten it out. And I like to do the long edge folds first. And guys, if you have a piece of like legal paper, you know, you can do this with any size paper, and you just keep folding halves. Okay. So if you have a piece of legal size paper, you're going to make a bigger book. Okay. Either a larger book with the same amount of pages, or the same size-ish book with more pages. All right. So now that we've done that, we have it going the other direction. It does not matter, you know, if you're put it this way or if you put it that way. The direction of the folds aren't really important at this moment. All right. So now that I've done that, we're going to fold this in half this way. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing we just did, but this time in the opposite direction. So here we go. Fold it in half. And now we're going to take that fold and put it at the bottom, and take the top cut piece and fold it down to where the fold was again. Okay. And now flip it this way so that the center fold is still at the bottom. Take the new top cut piece and fold it down to the bottom. Okay. So now, if we were to turn this into a book, we would have one of the books that is this size. Okay. Let's see. Fire Lake Sarah says hi, and that she has a bone folder from her scrapbooking days. Best thing ever. I know, right? I couldn't find my bone folders, and I was like, oh crap, I think they're upstairs with my bookmaking supplies that I really need to get back down here and organized. And then I remembered I had a couple with my Cricut supplies. So I grabbed one of those. Okay, so now that we have made, this is the size for making a this book, okay? So that you can also make a smaller book. I think I'm going to leave this one folded this way. No, I'm going to show you how to fold the smaller book because I have some folded this way already as well. So let me show you how to fold the smaller book. So once you have it like this, you can keep folding. Okay, so here you see this is a cut edge. So you want to slide it against your folding edge with your cut edge up and fold that cut edge back. Okay. And now we're going to take all this whole piece and flip it this way. So we have the same set of folds down here, and that last cut edge, the second cut edge, is right up here. We're going to fold this cut edge back. Okay. Remember, you'll be able to watch this on replay on YouTube. So if you can't remember the order in which to do things, do not stress. YouTube's gotcha. All right. The playlist is either crochet lunch with the Foundry or lunch with Jessie. I don't remember if I ever changed to lunch with Jessie, but it's in there. All right. So now to do the last two folds, what you're going to do is you have something that kind of looks like this, right? You're going to take that center fold and reverse it. So just whoosh, like that. So now that's all on the inside. Now put that center fold against here, against your folding area, your folding angle here. And now take the top half of all of this and fold it back to the center fold. Okay. Flip, whoosh, and take what is the new top half and fold it back to the center fold. All right. And now carefully smush it all down. And you want it to look like one, you don't want to be able to really see any of the bottom layers anywhere because you want it all to be the same size. You don't want it to be sliding around or have some of them bigger or smaller than the others, which is why this has folding against something like this. Like I said, even just having, a book and maybe if you have a clamp or something to make it stay, and then doing this, so you have this to fold against, it's a game changer for getting these folded straight. All right. That's how you go from looking like a craft you did in elementary school to something that people get super excited about as a gift from a grown-up. All right. So it's this having the space to fold against is a huge game changer. All right. So now once you have your piece folded, if it doesn't matter if it's a folded with, this, what is this, 8 one way and 4 the other way, or 4 both ways, or however you've done it, you're now going to cut. And the direction you cut decides if your book is going to open long ways, like if it's going to open landscape, or if it's going to open portrait. Basically, the direction you cut is going to be the top and bottom of your book. So if I make my slits going this way, you can see this is, if I make my slits going this way, then those are going to be, these rectangles are landscape. All right. Because you can see there's one rectangle right there. It's landscape. So if I'm making my slits going this way, I'm going to get a landscape book. if I make my slits going this way, you can see now my book is portrait. If I go this way, my book will be portrait. Okay, so let me show you what that means. We'll start off and we'll do these both on the 16 pieces. All right, well, it's more than 16 pieces, but yeah, 4 times 8, what is that, 32? So first we'll go the easy direction. So we're going to cut this way first. Okay, so if my pieces are cutting this way, then that means my pages, if I'm cutting here, then this is my square, so my square is portrait. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along this fold line, stopping when there's only one rectangle left. Okay, and I'm going to show you another trick for this on the next one, of something that I like to do when I'm cutting. All right, so there we go. There's one. Okay, now I'm going to skip one. I'm going to skip this fold, go to the next fold, and do the same thing. I'm going to cut on the fold line as exact as you can possibly be, all the way up until there is only one rectangle left. Okay, so you see there's the last fold. I went all the way up till there was only one rectangle left. Now you spin this around, and now in the uncut folds, you're going to do the same thing, coming from the opposite direction. So I'm going to cut on the fold line. All the way up until there's just one rectangle left. Okay, there we go. And now you accordion, whoosh, okay? And once you've gotten down to here, you just fold it. You can see which direction you need to fold based on where that one accordions, okay? And I can see that I did a really bad job on the very last square, the very last rectangle, of cutting on the rectangle. So I kind of need to recut that area, which is a bummer. All right. There we go. All right, but you can see that this wants to accordion this way, right? So if I have these both accordioned, then I don't want to fold it that way, obviously. I want to fold it this way. Okay, so I've got that folded, and now I accordion the next one and fold it. So here's where the fold is. I want to fold it like that. Okay, and then I accordion the last one. Woo! And sometimes you drop your accordions. And it'll fold that way. And now you pick up your accordions that you dropped. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right, so now, as you saw, the accordions will unaccordion. The first thing I do is kind of try to get everything lined up by pushing it against a 90-degree angle here to make sure that it's as square as possible. Okay, kind of reinforcing all the folds as square as possible. And if you're ever not sure which way you opened, go to just one of the end pieces. All right, here's an end piece, and then there's the other end piece, right? Those will show you. Those will open like the covers of your book. So you know, since they open like this, that's the cover. Those are the covers of your book. That is your spine. Now we're going to reinforce our spine. We're going to glue, tape, whatever, our spine. So what I like to do is put it down with some weight on it. One moment. I'm going to keep yelling so you know I haven't left you. I'm still here. Really, I am. I'm still here. Okay, so what I have is an iron. It's an iron. It's an old-fashioned iron. All right. So I'm just going to smush this, oopsie, make sure that this is exactly how I want it to sit. All lined up with the back. This isn't the best here. It's a little uneven, but oh well. And make sure that, okay, there's my cut edge of my edge of my paper. So that's the front of the book. This is the spine of the book. So I'm going to hang the spine of the book over here, put something nice and heavy on it. And then you can use Scotch tape. You can use double stick tape. I'm sure most of you have Scotch tape. So I'm going to show you this with Scotch tape. You want to take a piece of Scotch tape that's, you know, maybe just a tiny bit smaller than your book, and slide it, put it just above the spine. And then actually a really good way to do this is to flip it. Now it's laying flat on my table, right? Pushing down on that spine, or even like taking this and going, folding it towards you, pulling it towards you so it's nice and flat, and then pulling it towards you again. Okay, you want to try to get that all as flat as it can be, and I'm ironing it with my iron. Okay, and you want to try to push the spine in against the tape to kind of hold it so that it doesn't pop out. All right, that's going to help hold it together. And now you can use, you know, a couple more pieces of tape to make sure that you get all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. Okay, there we go. So that's how you hold it together with just the Scotch tape. Okay, or, you know, now if you could use washi tape on this, but I would first use like a Scotch tape or a tape. That's my whole thing is going to fall down if I put this heavy thing over there. Because this is obviously not sitting on anything, and I'm just relying on the fact that it's heavier back there than here. And that's why I'm putting my arm so far forward when I lean on it. Anyway, so that will hold that together, right? But let's say we want a book cover. Right here. Well, let me show you cutting the other direction too with the little trick that I like as well. All right, so we have a cutting spot, and I have one of these books. Now I have a craft knife and a ruler. And what I'll do is I'll leave that the fold nice and crisp, and I will use the fold. I'm pushing my ruler right up against the fold, and then I'm starting one square in and cutting against the ruler. So I'm using the ruler, the fold, to make sure, the ruler and the fold, to get my line, my cut line, exactly where it needs to be. This is so much more exact, I find, than scissors, or at least it is with me. It all kind of depends on, I guess, what you're comfortable with. But I find doing this way, and I start right at the little first fold here, so that I'm skipping the first rectangle, and then I cut. And again, you see I'm doing every other one, and then I'll flip the paper around and do the others. Oh, there we go. I got something weird there. There we go. All right, so now I flip the paper around and I'm doing the other ones. So we've got it going to the first fold and then cutting along all the way to there, all the way to the end. The next one, slide my ruler against this fold, going to the first fold in the other direction, starting at that first fold, cutting all the way to the end. Okay, and the last one, slide my ruler right up against the fold, start at the first fold this way, and cut all the way to the end. There we go. All right, so now that we've done that, now it's time to accordion, right? So we just accordion this and then fold it, accordion this, and fold, accordion, fold, accordion, fold. accordion. Pull this way, accordion. All right, so you can see, here we go. And when we're done, you find your two cover pieces, and however they open is how your book opens. Come on, there we go. Two cover pieces, they open this way. So that is how our book opens. All right, and we will now do the taping of the spine here. All right, and if your piece is longer, see now this piece I made longer than my spine just so I can show you that. So I'm going to kind of try to get this as neat as possible, making sure that I haven't flipped around. Okay, this is the cut edge. Remember the cut, the fold, the very first fold is your first spine. Okay, is your spine. So on both of them, both sides, there's the fold. That's the spine. So I'm now going to put the tape across the spine, just a little bit onto the front, the cover of the book, then flip that over so that the tape is actually on the table, and grab the whole book, all of it, and roll it so that it's on the spine, all smushed, and then roll it again. And now I've got the whole spine kind of taped together. And now what you can do is just take your scissors and just clip the extra tape off. All right. Let me stick that over here on a scrap piece of paper. And the extra tape off. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Now let's make a cover. So I have some of this I found in my coloring books, my little adult coloring books. Here is just a cute little page, right? And you can pre-color it, you can leave it alone, you can grab, I have origami paper, right? So here's a nice green sheet of origami paper. I have scrapbook paper, extra pieces of scrapbook paper. Let me grab those. So here's various little pieces of scrapbook paper that I have. And so I'm going to show you this with the coloring book paper that I have not colored in. You can color it in or you can not color it in, whatever floats your boat, dude. And I'm going to take this little book, and what I'm going to do, let's see, will it fit this way? Yeah, it looks like it will. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my double stick tape. You can use glue if you don't have double stick tape. I have double stick tape, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to start by putting a piece of double stick tape kind of on the spine of my book. Okay, maybe. Here we go. All right. And then I'm going to put the double stick tape right at the edges of my book as well, of the cover. Okay, and if I'm making a larger book, I'll usually put an X in the middle as well. In this case, this is so small, I don't feel like I need to put an X in the middle. So let's do this side of the book, and I'll show you this up close after I put them on. It's just hard to put the tape on in the air. All right, so here and here and here. All right, so let me show you what I've done. I've put double stick tape on the top and bottom and the edge of the book, and double stick tape on the spine of the book. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is start with the spine. I'm going to peel that off. So you would have, if you're gluing it, then just put some glue there to start off. All right, but I'm peeling off the There we go, peeling off the cover of the double stick tape. And I'm centering it here and smushing it down. Okay, yep, all right. So now I'm going to take all of the tape off of this side, all of the tape covering off of this side of the book. If you were gluing, then you would just go ahead and put some glue along this book cover. You could just put the glue down here, totally acceptable. I would probably actually put the glue down there. Okay, now what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to open that page, starting at the spine and going out, open the page. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Peel off all of this. If I'm gluing, I would just put glue here. And it doesn't have to be actually right against the edge. I probably shouldn't have done it right against the edge because you can trim. And so, you know, you don't need to stress about that. Now I'm going to open this cover. I'm going to press it down from the spine to this way. Okay. Kind of got a little pulled out of my spine there. There we go. Got everybody back in together here. Okay. So there we go. And now what you can do is use scissors, whatever, and cut. You can see, it's hard to see on the camera because it's white on white, but you can see the edge of your book cover. And I'm just going to cut just barely outside the edge of the copy paper book cover. So that is just a tiny, the decorative book cover is just a tiny bit bigger than the copy cover, than the copy paper book cover. There we go. And then you fold everybody again. And now you have this cute little book. You can kind of get your 90-degree angles as best as you can. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to get those 90-degree angles really kind of folded in there, but do the best you can here. I'm pushing them against here. It's really difficult to do it so that you can see what I'm doing. So you can also kind of just go like, I'm just kind of making a 90-degree angle with my fingernails here, right? Okay, but there we go. We have this cute little book. Look at that. All right. And again, you would do the same thing with the other direction. So let's say you just want to make some that's somebody's favorite color. You can just, and I mean, you can honestly, you can just put a bunch of tape down, really. Here, we're just going to put a bunch of tape down like this. So we're going to pretend like this is the same thing, the same way you would do this if you were using glue. Okay. Let me just make sure that I get all the way to the top. I think I need a little bit higher to make sure that I get all the way to the top. All right. So. All right. So you would just put your glue down in a spot a little bigger than what you're going to need. Because we're just going to trim it up anyway, right? Okay, and now I'm going to put down the piece of tape that would be right at the spine of my book. So there we go. Because I want to make sure that the spine is really totally in there, totally glued down. Okay, so we're going to put that down here. Smush. Okay, and then I do want to make sure that I get all the way. You know what? I think we're going to, we'll do a little bit the other direction too, right about where the edge would be. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. All right. I just want to show you that we're not necessarily going for, this is you can make something awesome. I just taped my finger instead of the thing. You can make something awesome without a whole lot of tools, as long as you have the important things like this. All right. Like, you know, something that you're folding against, which I showed you how to make with just a book and a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be, you know, the fancy pants drawing board. So now that I have my glue or tape or whatever down, I'm just going to carefully, starting from the spine, open my book page, my cover page there. And then again, make sure you have your glue or tape or whatever down on the other side. Open this cover page, starting from the spine, working out. All right. And now you can take your scissors and you're just going to follow the cover. It's what happens when you do the extra tape, but I just wanted to show you that it's really not a big deal. Being precise isn't necessary. You could even go a little extra if you want to. Make sure you have extra tape though. And you could then fold over the edges, over the book edge if you want to. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Lego my ego. You would need to make sure you had enough glue or tape. Okay. Okay, you see how I left a little extra here? Now I'm going to just fold it right at the edge of the white paper, the copy paper. Okay, and that gives you that little fold in there. And then you fold your book closed and try to get yourself real nice 90-degree angles, which is probably one about the hardest part here. Whee, 90-degree angles. All right, so again, you can make kind of a 90-degree angle with your fingernails. All right, and I have a few questions, or just one. What do you put on the pages of these books? Okay, see, and I was about to get to that. We were just about to talk. Look about that. Go, Monica. All right, so there we go. So now that book's a little green one. All right. And if you wanted a book with more pages, now remember, I also said you can make them, if you hadn't done that last set of folds, you could have left it still with the pages being this big, okay? And if you want a bigger book, you can make several of these and then glue the covers together, okay? And you can even make several of these with like this pretty little, you know, paper cover, solid paper cover, or any kind of paper cover, and then stick them together and then put a bigger cover around it. Now, I love like this little size. I usually will only do in copy paper. I think it's a little too, I mean, some people might still use it for sketch paper, but I think it's probably a little too small for sketch paper, but whatever you want to do is fine. Now, you can either give this like this. Some people will like it like blank like this, but I think these really small ones, especially the really small ones that go in the other direction, like this one, these are fun for putting, like writing little, you can either like stick little words, inspirational quotes, whatever in here. You can write in little like inside jokes with your friend. You know, this is really cute for like somebody you've been friends with a really long time, and you can just write little memories in here, you know. Oh, Gretchen's not here. But you know, there's one of my friend Gretchen, my roommate in undergrad, was one of her favorite quotes when somebody was really hard to get a hold of, like when we were trying to find the actor that we needed to do a quick change with, or we wanted to practice or whatever. oh, he's harder to pin down than a flea on a tricycle. So I might write harder to pin down than a flea on a tricycle, and then maybe I might draw a picture of a flea on a tricycle, or, draw a picture of tomato soup with avocado on the side, because that's what we used to get at the diner, and then maybe a little picture of the theater school logo, because that's where we went to college together. And, then maybe print out or find a little image of, some movie that we like, Titanic, draw little stick figures of the people doing this on the Titanic, because we went and saw Titanic together, because that's when I was an undergrad. So various things like that. I think we saw the Keith Brunel or whatever, Hamlet, so together, where it was a balcony. The theater we went to had a balcony. So, you do fun little memories in here and give it to somebody, just inspirational quotes in here, pretty little pictures in here. You can make a flip book if you're an artist, do make one of those little flip books. Woo! I can't flip it so you can see it, but you can do one of those little flip books if that's what you want. So many options, whatever, or you can just give it like this to somebody who might actually use it like this. Okay. They're quick and easy. I mean, you can bang these out in like 5-10 minutes each, especially if you're going to assembly line them. And so it's fine if somebody's just using them for little notes for themselves or whatever they want. It's not like it was something that took a long time and cost a lot of money or whatever. They're great for just little reminders or whatever they want. And then like the ones that are like this size, I like to make with with sketch paper for artists who just want a little sketchbook they can toss in their pocket if they feel like sketching anything, right? You could also, if you're giving it to a little kid, or you could draw little pictures. You could fold this up with a piece of paper that's a big piece of paper that has a coloring page on it, right, with different designs or whatever, so that it's a folded up little coloring page that they can just color little bits and pieces of it. It would have to be something kind of abstract, right? And give it to them with a couple of gel pens. And then they can color in the pages. So, or you can just even draw little, if you're an artist, and you don't even have to be an incredibly talented artist, you can just draw little pictures of flowers or hearts or whatever on here and give it to a kid with gel pens as a little mini coloring book. This would be really cute to just do something like that and just have a bunch of them in your bag with a bunch of different gel pens or whatever. If you're going out with kids and you need something that's going to keep them entertained while they're sitting and waiting for their meal at dinner or whatever, pull out a little mini coloring book and some gel pens, and they can just sit and color away. I mean, and heck, you can give them a blank one and some gel pens, and they can sit and draw away, right? These are they're so small and nice and convenient. And of course, the bigger the pages are, the less pages you're going to have. And so, just however you want to do it, just have fun with it. There are so many things you could do on these. And yes, you could, like when we're talking like this size, this can become a little photo album. They have a lot of those, they have the various kinds of instant cameras now that print out even like the picture on sticker paper, like Polaroid Snap Touch. They have the Polaroid has cameras that you can print your pictures out on a piece of out about this size, and the picture has a sticker back on it. So you print it out and it's a sticker back, and you could just stick it right in here. So you could do some photos that way. You could do a photo and then you could write something next to it, like about the memory or whatever. So it could be a cute little memory book. Whatever floats your boat, man. They're super, super fun. And I know a lot, this size, I think, is a size a lot of people really like. It's great for quick little notes to yourself, and quick little sketches if you have ideas that you want to remember. And it's something that you don't feel bad using for something just like writing down a quick idea or whatever, because it's not, it's not something that took somebody forever to make, and it's not, I don't, it's something that works as a kind of put down your quick memories, sketch your ideas, and then when you're done with it, it gets tossed to the side or whatever. It's not a big deal that um it's not like fabric leather bound with embroidery stitches all over it or whatever like that. It's a quick and easy something that can be used without the person who you gave it to feeling like they have to hold on to it for something special. And I'll usually give something like this with a note that says, don't wait for the right time. Now is the right time. Jot down ideas, keep track of your memories, draw a picture, whatever you want, use it now. I'll make you more if you want more, kind of thing, So this size is really, really good for that. And you can give a whole stack of them, so I really, really enjoy these as gifts. Let's see. I think we've got all of our questions answered. Yeah, so those are the various kind of variations I like to do. So you can see I have some that I'd started. This is actually with sketch paper. And it'll be the sketch paper, the copy paper is 8.5 by 11 because I live in the States where that is our standard copy paper size. So, but then this was sketch paper that I think is 9 by 12. So this will actually make a little book like this. It's just a tiny bit bigger than this. I might actually have one. Let me see. I do. I have a couple of them that are pre-folded right here. So here we go. So you can see here's the size that I get with the 9 by 12 sketch paper. It's a little bit bigger than what you get with the 8.5 by 11. Okay, so that's a 9 by 12 piece of sketch paper that I folded up into what will be a little sketchbook. Okay, so, and I thought about putting, covering them with different colors of the origami paper and sticking several together to make a bigger book. But what I'm thinking instead of doing it that way is just making a bunch of little books so that you still only have a little one, but I can give you a bunch of them. And then, you just only have to take one at a time. Monica asks if you can use 8 by 14 paper. 100%. I'm pretty sure that we have some legal paper here somewhere. And I was going to go and see if I could find that and make it. It's a matter of your folding halves. So you fold it in half, and then you fold that in half, and you fold that half in half. And if you just keep folding halves, you'll always be able to do this, okay? As long as in the end, you folded everything evenly. So you folded it into 2 even pieces, 4 even pieces, 8 even pieces, 16 even pieces, however many even pieces. And then the same thing the other way, 2, 4, 6. It doesn't have to be the same number. With these, I folded both ways into 4 even pieces. But with these, I folded one way into 4 even pieces and the other way into 8 even pieces, right? And I showed you back at the beginning of the video how to fold this into 8 even pieces really easily, okay? So as long as you keep on folding things into even pieces, you can keep doing this. And just remember, when you're cutting, the line that you cut, the lines you cut will be the tops and bottoms of your pages. So if I cut this way, this is the top and the bottom of my pages, which means I'm going to have a portrait. My book is going to open this way. But if I cut my lines this way, down to here, stopping, and then up to here and stop, and then down to there and stop. If I cut this way, then here and here will be the bottom of my pages, which means my book will end up landscape. Okay, my book will end up landscape. So whatever direction you cut is the top and bottom of your book. The other direction will be the spine and the front of your book. All right. So let's see. So we have that. Yes, totally. Any kind. Oh wait, what do you put on the pages of the? Oh, we did this already. Okay, sorry. And oh, thank you. Love the lesson. They're great little gifts, and that's, I was thinking about it because I was making some to just like put in stockings and stuff. So they're great little stocking stuffers, and I'm crocheting dish scrubbies also for gifts. And so I was like, the little books and the little dish scrubbies, and I can afford that. It doesn't cost a lot for shipping, and people like them. All right. So there you go. And for those of you who want to come back for the live sit and stitch, where you guys get to talk as well, because it's on Zoom. Okay, we have the live sit and stitch on Zoom from 6 to 8 this evening. The QR code up here is what you want. You can click it now, and you can save your link, or it'll send you the link or whatever. And you can use that. You can come to the live sit and stitch. It's from 6 to 8 this evening. It's totally free, and it doesn't have to be yarny. Okay, we'll do any crafts. I'll help you with anything you want help with, and we love to see what you're making. Monica says she's going to make some to take to church for her grandkids to draw on. Exactly. It's like, it's such a, like, stick it in your pocket, keep the kids entertained, stick it in your pocket, and you're like, oh, right, I almost forgot I wanted to buy more granola bars. So you just write yourself a little note. You just put a little date. Like, when I do the medieval things, I always have a little book with me. And I don't know why I don't I'm going to have to start keeping one in my purse. But you just like write the little date on it, on the whatever page you're on. And then I scribble my little notes. Oh, don't forget to buy granola bars. Oh, I just saw this thing, I'll put like, wherever I am, Michael's, Five Nights at Freddy fabric, because maybe I saw Five Nights at Freddy fabric at Michael's, and I want to remind myself, because I think I want to go home and figure out how, and then I might put apron, and I'll be like, okay, so I want to go home and figure out an apron pattern, because I think I'm going to make Vero a Five Nights at Freddy apron. That is a really good idea. Actually, Vero would love Vero makes us dinner every Friday night, and he likes Five Nights at Freddy's. Now I'm going to have to find Five Nights at Freddy fabric and make Vero an apron. Oh my God, I just got the greatest Christmas idea. Now I need to find Five Nights at Freddy. And you know what? Licensed fabric is expensive because they have to pay for the licensing, right? All right. But yeah, so you write, see, and I could write that thing down right now, and then I won't forget. Sarah loves that idea for Monica bringing it for church. My brother and I used to draw in the programs, but these are better. Exactly. Daughter loved the movie. Oh, the new Five Nights. Have you seen is the new one out already? I think so. I think we're gonna try to take the kids this week, because like they're less expensive in the morning. Like a movie here can cost anywhere from, like, if you go and see it like the first show of the day on a weekday, I think you might be able to get in for like $10 or $12 a ticket. Or you can go to like the fanciest, like in the same movie theater, the fanciest theater they have with the fancy seats. And, at the prime time with a popular movie, it can be like $25 a ticket. All right. So anywhere from like $12 to like $25 of a ticket for a movie here. So yeah, we're going to try to find the really cheap time, because it's the same movie. And it's the same screen. Okay, some of the screens are a little bigger than others, but dude, it's the same freaking thing. We're going to try to find one of the inexpensive times to take the kids to see the new Five Nights at Freddy movie. Because we took them to see the first one, and they've always been Five Nights at Freddy fans. So, and Matthew Lillard, come on. Monica, that's why I wait for streaming. We wait for streaming for most things. I personally see every Jurassic Park movie in the movie theaters. We try to see I have seen every Star Wars movie in the movie theaters, and we definitely try to make sure the kids get to as well. But there are certain movies that you see in the movie theaters, and then most of the rest of them I wait for streaming. There are very few movies I go to in the movie theaters. But Five Nights at Freddy, I think, is one that's it's something that kids have loved since it first came out. And so, it's nice to take them to see it at the theater. My husband has that like $25 a month ticket. that he gets to see, I think, up to 6 movies a week for it's AMC, which our local theater is, and he can see up to 6 movies a week for the $25 a month ticket. And, so he sees everything in the theater, and that is his stress relief. My therapy, my stress relief is crafting everything. His is sitting in the movie theater seeing a movie. I'm like, I will happily pay $25 a month for you to get the unlimited, essentially, movie ticket. And it's cheaper than a therapist. Way cheap. And even if he was going to a therapist as well, it's his enjoyment. He works hard. $25 a month is totally, I think in a couple of years, once the kids are really out and I am like more stable in what I'm doing, I might get one for myself too, so I can go and see some movies with him. But yeah, so see, Monica agrees with Star Wars. Star Wars is one you got to go see in the theater. All right, guys, it is 5 hours until our sit and stitch, and I do have some things I want to get done before then. So I will see, hopefully, all of you in 5 hours there. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Remember to tell your friends that you love them. All right. So, and everybody else, tell the people you love that you love them, because you should always. All right. I love you guys. Bye-bye.